And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. I know it's been a little while, but hope everybody's doing well. I know it might be a little surprising to see me here. It's been a bit. I know a lot of people are out traveling, either at Rapid TCT right now, which would have been amazing. I'm so happy for everybody that got an opportunity to get out there and see all the cool stuff there. And those of you that are getting ready to travel, possibly today, possibly tomorrow, heading out to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival in Loveland, Colorado. Everyone's doing well. Hey, LTX Designs, how's it going? How is it going? Uh, hey, LTX Designs, if you would be so kind as to drop your website or contact information either in the chat or over in Discord. I want to reach out to you possibly. I have a Corvus project that I have fairly, I think everything's built, but I'm going to have to rebuild the software side of things. But I don't have panels for it. I'm going to need some panels. I may have some other panel things I will want to do here in the near future. So if you could send me some contact info, I'd love to reach out to you about some concepts and some ideas. But I hope everyone's doing well this evening. Uh, this is going to be a little bit more on the chat and chill side. We may get over and work on a repair. I've been doing a slow repair in between other jobs. Shoot me a DM on Discord. That usually easy. Okay, sounds great. I can do that. So yeah, we've been pretty busy around here at the shop. I haven't been able to really work on too many of my own projects. That's kind of life. And dealing with the sinus surgery last week, that's going well. I had my first follow up Tuesday, and that went really great. Unfortunately, they had told me they were going to do this procedure called a debridement. And the best thing that I can tell is it was basically go and clean up any of the wounds and some of the scabbing and scarring and stuff. So they pretty much said, make sure you take your pain med, like your prescribed pain med, an hour before you get here. Which meant I had to have somebody drive me. So Evil Diesel drove me up there to the appointment. And my doctor's chit-chatting with me, asking how I'm feeling, this, that, and everything else. And she goes, boop, boop, you're done. Everything looks great. And I'm like, so I took pain meds for no reason. And now it does mess with you. You don't want to try and scream and do things like that. So just kind of shot the rest of Tuesday in the butt. But I'm doing good, Eagle. I'm doing good. How are you doing today? So I had a pretty busy day today. Working the day job. So I'm back at the day job now. Started that yesterday, getting caught up and everything. And, projects are still going in here. It seems like just about every day we've had somebody coming in and inquiring about print jobs. So the print farm has been farming. We've been doing good there. We've got a large order for some 250th celebration medallions. I say medallions. They're 8-inch. Here, let me grab one. Oh. They are custom, and I don't know how to, there we go. They're custom America 250. They're about 8-inch round circles. And The customer is resin filling these with a translucent colored resin in red, white, and blue. And the goal will be to basically make this look like a leaded stained glass piece, which it does. I'll have to post a picture up on the Discord. But we also did a custom base for them that will allow these to be used as a centerpiece or a table. So you'll have two of these. There will be a spot for some LED lights that will backlight them. And then at the end of the night, they get to take them home and they can hang them up in their windows as sun catchers. So we've got a lot of these going on. And this was, the individual had these designed, and we made several tweaks to them and worked, iteratively with them, and especially on the bases and stuff. And it's been great. She is a maker, like wood, fabric, foam, anything you can think of, resins and stuff. So she's a maker at heart, and one of the best customers we've had as far as coming in, talking design, listening when we say, okay, that works on paper, it doesn't work in a print. Here's some things that we can do that would add some weight visually to it. And we did 2 or 3 prototypes, and every time she would resin fill it and then bring it in, and we would talk through some of the issues if we had a blowout because of a too thin of a line or something. And it was really great. So we've had that. And we're doing the final prints for that, large batch order for that. And then we had the TPU prints that we did for the local kids play area that just went up and opened up. And there's going to be some more prints coming from that to the hole signs for their putt-putt golf course, right? And other things. We've got another guy that just came in today looking for some custom mounts for a custom sim racing rig that he is building out, right? And so all of these really cool custom design things. And if you follow me over on the Tiki Talks, you may know of a gentleman named Sandhills 3D over on TikTok and YouTube. So he comes in here a lot, and if we start working on a machine tonight, it will be one of his machines that I'm repairing for him, because yeah, it was a Trident that was like this and dangling by the bed wires, and yeah. So we had to do some work there. It did not transport well, we'll just put it that way. And he did some dash pieces. Well, he was having to cut the dash pieces in half and then do a lot of additional, we'll say, finish work, post-processing body work to make it look right, to provide it to his customer. I showed him I was able to print it in one full piece on the KD Max 4. He's now bought a KD Max 4 and is rocking and rolling that. And somebody saw those videos, reached out to him, found out where he got the printer. So I have a guy that may be traveling in from Myrtle Beach, which is several hours away, to come in, and he does custom upholstery and interior work on Mustang Fox bodies. And I'm doing a prototype print for him right now to show the capabilities of the printer, so that when he gets here, he gets to see one of his finished parts, which he has already agreed that he will pay me for, and then may wind up buying one or more Max 4s. So, and LTX Designs, interesting that you mentioned that. So, the Max 4 that's on my sales floor is my personal machine, and it's been printing almost nonstop since I got it, and we unboxed it on stream February 10th, right? I'm getting ready to do another large order with Keedy to get more of those units in, both the Max 4 and the Max 4 combos. And we've made the decision that our print farm currently consists of 6 Elegoo Centauri carbons, 2 X1C carbons, and that's the main print farm. And then we use other printers on the line as needed. And yeah, we're gonna swap all of our print farm, our dedicated print farm machines over to Cheetys. They're gonna all go to Q2s. Hey T Moore, how's it going? You're here and there? Awesome. I see you on both. Hey Mad Dog, or I'm sorry, Mad Owl, how's it going? Yeah, we're going to do pretty much Q2s. I will still have the Max 4 that's on the display line for large prints if need be. And as I said, funny you should mention it. I'm working with Fabrico, and as soon as they hit Fabrico, they're going to drop ship me an XL, and we're going to be building a Venture XL. I need something in a 600 size. And I kept looking at things like Modex, and I was looking at the Tronxy, and the Tronxy specs look great. I say Tronxy. Tron XY specs look great. And I was watching a lot of reviews on the Tron XY VHOS 600, and I kept seeing where I was able to talk to them and get responses within 24 hours. I bought the printer, I'm having problems, and I can't get them to respond. Right? +4 is kind of hit or miss. Well, Nick, I agree with that, and I think Cheety really learned from the +4, and I have a +4 that's going to be coming to me. My Keedy rep reached out to me, and there was a customer that had a return that's trying to do a return. Basically, it's a clogged nozzle. It looks brand new, and they're going to have it sent to me. I'm going to refurb it and be able to sell it. So I'll have one of those come through and be able to check it out. And it's nice that I get it that way, because that way I get to make a determination if that size makes sense, right? Because we've got the Q2s, which is 270, 270, 256, and then the next jump up is the Max 4, which is 390, 390, 340. But at the price point and size, does it make sense to get something in the middle? I don't know. So having this +4 come in to do a refurb on is probably not a bad thing. And I've already chatted with Hector LTX, and that was basically it. He was like, suggest getting rid of the FISEC electronics. And I was like, yeah, I've got a Kraken and a tube ready to go in it. The question is whether I put a tube compact with a Dragon burner in it, or do I just put the full-size tube in it? I'll have to see once it gets here. And funny enough, I just had an individual that was here I started a little bit late today because they were gabbing well past closing time. But he has a Creality, but his work has a +4. And by the way, hey, Cody, what is that? Yeah, hey Cody, hey Alex, how's it going? Alex, did you get a package today by any chance? Or have you flown yet? But yeah, it's more of in my lineup in the store, does the +4 size and price point make sense between the Q2 and the Max? That's really where it boils down to. And having one in the store will let me gauge that a little bit better. But yeah, I've got a Kraken to swap it out with. I was contemplating going with 48 volt for the XY or the AB motors, swapping them up to 48 volt and then 24 volt for everything else, which should give me the headroom to throw a tube in there with no problem. So yeah, but we're going to take the Venture XL. We're going to do some light tweaking to it. And I don't know how much of it's going to be a live stream build or not. I did order some extrusions and some other parts, so I am going to build a 4040, probably. I'm going to do 4040 base extrusion for the cart for it. And my plan will be to take the wheels from the Venture XL and put it on the cart and then set it right on top of it. We're going to basically build it in place on the cart. You did get a package yesterday. Okay. Yeah, the Venture XL is going to be, like I said, it's going to give me the ability to do some larger prints, because we did have a limitation with some of the materials that we were using, trying to get them to bond properly. And we had to bond it because we just did not have a big enough printer to print the whole thing in one piece. So, you know, there will be a case when we need to do that. The Z is slower than watching paint dry. You do have files for an improved enclosure and beta testing doors for Hector. All right, cool. Sounds good. I may be interested in some more. Thanks for the follow, Riath. So yeah, it was really, and I was looking, like I said, it was the Venture XL, a Tron XY, which I kind of wanted to, because I'm like, you know, I could work through the issues. I have the knowledge, I can work through the issues. The question is, do I want to? Right? Because once it ships over here, you're not shipping it back. It's going to be a couple of grand to ship it back to China. So once it's here, it's here. It either works or it doesn't, right? I was also looking at something like a Modex, but if I do a Modex, I'm having to add another power panel in this building, and I'm renting. And I'm only on a 3-year lease right now, so I don't want to do anything like that just yet. That would be a little bit further down. And if I pull that kind of trigger, then it'll be something even bigger probably. Okay, so the AB are already 48 volt. Okay, well that saves me some trouble then. Was it always that way, or for the life of me, and I'm rewatching the videos for Modbot and Cadet Creator right now, and I thought it was all 24 volt, but that might have been one of the updates that they did in the newer version of it. We've been building the the Leote K1 Max risers on printables, 1 of 8 complete. Nice. Very capable with better electronics than what it has. You're having a custom bed designed to be single piece with 4 zones. Well, yeah, and that, see, that's at least, while it's 4 separate beds, it's 1 magnet, 1 PEI sheet, which makes it a little bit easier. I kind of agree with you, and I was looking at doing a straight full-up custom build that was going to be, and I still may do one that's like 500 by a meter by 500. And when I do that, I was going to look for a monolithic sheet for the bed. And then, you know, since it'd be like 500 size, I would do 2 separate heaters, or maybe look into doing like 3 separate heaters. Would have to see. But that way you can heat up zones separately, but it's still one monolithic sheet of aluminum. But yeah, that's some of the thoughts and plans that have been going on here. I will tell you, if you guys were following along, that me and A Bit Nuts have come together on the project. So what that means is next weekend, I believe next Saturday, A Bit Nuts is going to be driving down to Sanford, North Carolina, and bringing me their Rat Rig 400 project and all of the goodies that they have for it. And yeah, so I will be finishing off their Rat Rig 400 and getting it finished. It was one of those things of, you know, they got this part done, and then Mandala came out with bed mounts. So the bed comes back off, things come apart, he puts the bed mounts on, starts to get things back together, and then they come out with the new part, and he keeps getting new shinies. So bringing it here, there will be no more new shinies, and we'll get it built the way it is, which I believe is heavily enhanced with a dash of Mandala Roseworks parts, 1.5 GT belts and pulleys, Kraken motors, hybrid IDEX with tubes, VCore 4.1. Hey, Cruising Girl, how's it going? Welcome in. So there's going to be a good deal to do on that. What I'm hoping is the parts for the cart that I'm going to build come in over the weekend, and I think some other like drill jigs and the nuts for the blind joints and everything, or the bolts and nuts for the blind joints will come in on Monday. And I'm going to have to drill and tap the ends of the extrusions. And basically I'm doing like 1 meter lengths. The corner pillars, I think I just got the 1/2 meter. So 500 millimeter tall. And I'm going to do a bottom shelf, a top shelf, basically make a box, put casters on it, and I'll add 3/4 inch plywood, get a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, cut it in half, put it down there, cut it to size, and be done with it. And I'll have a nice rolling cart that we will use to get the VCore 4, the Rat Rig VCore 4.1 400 size project in. I can use it as a good rolling platform to work on that. And then once the Venture XL comes in, the Rat Rig should be done and go home, and I will start building the Venture. And like I said, the Venture may be content. It may be just have a camera on while I'm doing a lot of this and, you know, wrenching on things, getting it done. But we are going to do that build, but that is a shop build. So that's, I'll just say it's one that we can't do a 13 stream series and take 3 months to build, right? Because that's costing money and needs to start making money. But leveling the beds was the worst part of the build outside of ripping all the FISEC gear out and replacing it with LDO. Well, so here's the thing. If need be, and when I say if need be, LTX, definitely I will be reaching out to you and asking the questions. I've got a set of 4 Kraken motors, and I've got a set of 4 LDO, what are they? Super Power, Speedy Power, whatever. And I think they all have the 8mm shafts on it. So there are options to get rid of a lot of the bisect stuff that comes with it. Have I seen the new Flash Forge? Cruising Girl. I have seen the videos of the Flash Forge. I have not laid eyes on it. I am talking to my contacts at Flash Forge right now to say, you know, when can I get them on order? I've got an order ready to go to get some of them when they launch so that I can get them in here, and I'm trying to get a display unit for the shop. I just don't know how quickly they're going to get here. But I am intrigued to see how it comes out. You know, it's a little bit bigger. It's a 256 cube build volume and 4 tool heads. The spools mount on the right side, just like the 85X. It's just going into straight extruders rather than an IFS system. But it's interesting when you see the Creator 5 Pro images, it does not show the spool holders on the right side. I do not see the spool holders at all. So I'm curious to see what the status is on that. The MCU, the screen is the Pi clone, which are the weak point. Screen. Okay, so yeah. I have a BigTreeTech HDMI 7-inch display if I need to. I plan on I will take that Pi clone, put it on my bench, and I've got a Pi 5 I will put in it. So I'll run a Pi 5, Kraken. I'll try and use their screen to see if that works. If not, then we'll swap it out with a different 7-inch screen. And then, yeah, whatever else in the electronics bay I need to rip out and yeet, I will. That's not a problem. I've got parts in the parts cannon I can throw at it sitting right over here off stream. So, yep. But yeah, so let me go put this stuff back over there, and we'll grab this other machine and we'll take a look at something. And so the first quote unquote other machine and don't worry, I will bring or I will switch over to the bench camera. Hopefully the bench camera plays nicely. As soon as the start of that first ad. Hey Shenanigans, how's it going? Welcome on in, friendo. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm curious as well. So Ecovate 3D over in Raleigh has the U1s, and they're going to be the East Coast distributor for them. So it is a possibility, and I'm going to have to try and see how much, how well it does. Make sure to check the wiring on the contactor. Mine were loose from the factory. Other than that, the big 2.4 with doom corners should be able to build and fully function. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. So here's one of the things that we've been working on. This is red of that camera there. This is the Corvus case that Manic really was working on. This is a PC case. We're on design style. I still need to finish printing the lower skirts and get those in. And then I'm going to work on getting some panels cut for it. But this is that dark cherry red atomic ABS and the dark purple from Polymaker. And so I kind of did some of the things that Mandic did, in the fact of I've got a older style motherboard in here. It's a Gigabyte AB350 gaming with 32 gig of RAM. Wow, there's like very poor lighting in here. We've got our 1060 video card, and that's pretty much it. Right underneath the video card, I have a, what was that, a 970 SSD, so an M.2 SSD. We've got our radiator underneath here. So I did do his full radiator stack, complete with 3D printed air filters. So same trick, 30% gyroid infill with just 10 walls. So these will make good dust covers for the shop because we tend to get a lot of dust here. But all in all, this is a fun little build. It's a little bit annoying because you have to build it in a specific order. Otherwise, you have to take things out and redo some work. But other than that, it hasn't been too bad. It was more of trying to keep everything nice and clean. I did have some problems getting some warping on these prints. You know, long flat sheets, the bottoms look great. And of course, this is the side that was on the bed. And the reason we couldn't flip it over where if we had an ugly surface, it wouldn't be visible, is because of these little pop-ups right here, which is where the magnets are. So yeah, that part stinks. I may reprint these down the road to see if a different type of infill will make it less prone to some of that shrinkage. But yeah, everything's in there, everything's done. This PC is working, but this is an older PC of mine that had Windows 10 on it. So we're gonna have to put a Linux version on this. And yeah, put some panels on it, a couple of more prints for the base, and this will be done. You cast your vote in the U1 ring. Okay. Like I said, I've been impressed with the prints that people are getting off the U1. I just have not been able to actually get my hands on the one that was over at Ecovate. Every time I went over there, it was already being used by somebody. It was mid-print. So I was never able to get any prints going on it and get some front panel FaceTime with it, so to speak. So yeah. And then the other thing, and this will be the one thing that we'll have to work on tonight. This is a repair that was brought in. It was, hey, you know, I'd really like to have a touch screen and a filament runout sensor on this. And let's just say things escalated. This machine is secondhand to this individual, and it had the drop or underslung electronics mod done to it. The wiring was all over the place. Like the cable chain wiring came down over here, went down. There's a set of Wagos back here. I still have no idea what it's for. There were Scotch locks being used and vampire taps underneath here. All of the motor wires were way extra lengths and everything. So we went ahead and we rewired all of the mains, because the mains was using red, black, and green, as well as the DC. And I particularly hate that, because it's way too easy when you're working on something that's using the same wire colors for everything to send mains voltage to a 24-volt component. So we redid all of the mains wiring, and we've got that good to go. We redid a lot of the DC wiring as well. We added a 24-volt set of Wagos here to break out the power to make things a little bit cleaner. We added some of the DIN rail clips. Let me see if we can't zoom everyone in just a bit. Okay. So we have some DIN rail clips. They're very simple clips that were designed by Steve Builds. And this was for, I believe he did this when he did his zero-G Mercury build. A very, very simple DIN rail clip. But what it gives you is at every end, you've got a pass-through that you can do a wire tie this way or over the top. And you have another one here, so you can do one around the end. And by doing this, you can basically lace up your wires and keep your wires well managed and separated. And I was trying to keep, all the mains voltage on this side, DC down here, and trying to keep comm lines as much as possible away from a power line or linkage. They have a CAN bus tool head on this. I am probably going to have to rebuild the tool head. I don't want to, but I may have to. And the reason being is they would like a filament runout sensor. So there was a couple of weird things with this machine. One, besides the bed coming in like this with the broken rear bed mount and front mounts, it had an internal spool holder right over here on the back right side. So the PTFE tube came up and was completely wrapping within the machine, and that's the way it came to the individual. And that's how he was using it, but he was like, I would really prefer to have the spool on the outside like a normal boron. Hey, J.R. Abadou, welcome on in. And like I said, I've been impressed with the prints that I have seen come off of the U1, especially the ones from Neokoi Prints. It is a very impressive printer. I just have not been able to lay hands on one myself and play with it yet. Everybody's, I don't want to say everybody, but I have had a few people ask if I am going to carry the U1, and it all depends. My biggest thing here is with the store is trying to deal with the vendor management side and try and minimize the number of vendors I have right now, just because it's part of logistics, it's part of the cash flow and everything, and I'm trying to get the business up, running, and stable, and then start expanding out. With that said, Fabrico and their Honey Badger line is going to be coming into Digital Dragon 3D. So I've got an order in with Hector right now, and we're going to be getting some more parts. We'll be carrying some of the Honey Badger lineup, fans, the alpha nozzles. I don't think I put in an order for rails just yet, but I will need to start getting some rails in eventually, and some build plates. So that's going to mean that we've got FlashForge, Keytie, and Bamboo printers, ePax and Bamboo filament. We have Kadive plates. We have some effects plates from Ideaformer for some of the machines that we stock. And we're going to be getting in some glue stick from a local supplier as well. So that's some of the stuff that we'll have. And like I said, we're going to keep branching out. The request has been made to bring in Ambrosia. Unfortunately, I will say that right now, I've stocked ABS and ASA, and I've been the only one that's been buying the stock. I've had very few people come in and procure ABS or ASA from me. So, you know, unless people are going to start ordering Ambrosia from me on the East Coast type of thing, I don't know the viability of bringing in another full set of lineup. It just may be a few specific colors to get started. So we got some wiring here for the bed. We'll need to hang the bed. I need to put on the screen because he wanted to go clipper screen versus the standard 128/64 display. And I'm going to put it back together. I'm trying my best not to grab this as if it was one of mine and just go whole hog with it, because that's not the ask. This is a repair. Hey, Pete, how's it going, my friend? So we're going to get the repair done. Oh yeah, I do have the Ethernet cable to route to the back as well for them. But yeah, I need to terminate the can. Whoever had this had soldered on a right angle connector, 2-pin right angle connector for the can. So we're pulling can power from the 24-volt Wagos, and then can signals coming off of the Octopus board. And so far, everything that I've unplugged has gone right back into the same spot. So there should be zero software configuration changes other than commenting out the 128/64 stuff and setting clipper screen up on it. And like I said, they want a filament runout sensor. An easy, cheap way is to put one external, but the tool head looks really good. It looks to be in good condition, and I don't want to tear it apart and rebuild it just to put a filament runout sensor at the top. You know, the front cover should be fine, the lower should be fine, but you do have to swap out the whole extruder setup to be able to put in a filament runout sensor. So it's kind of like, do I want to do that rebuild or not? Because that's more time and that's more energy and it's labor, right? This is a paid job. So I'll call the customer, give them a couple of options, see what they want me to do, and we'll go with it. But yeah, a lot of this was just cleaning it, tidying up the wiring, ensuring the wiring is good quality and safe, because once it goes out of here, it's had the shop name on it. So last thing I want to do is grab a machine and say, this is the only thing that we're going to touch, is we're going to put a screen on it, and I look past everything else underneath here and a fire starts, right? That's a liability now that it's not, you know, just me. And so there will be disclaimers going forward on future projects that we bring in that, you know, if there's an egregious thing, we're going to make a comment about it. We'll call it out. We'll call the customer, and we will have them sign off on, you know, a release of liability risk statement. If there is something from a potential fire hazard or something that they say, nope, we don't want you to fix that, we're going to have them sign off that position so that we we don't get caught left in the lurch. But yeah, it's kind of what we've been working on. The previous owner had swapped in and had Noctua fans over here for the controller cooling, and they had a modified rear exhaust vent with I think a 120 Noctua 12 volt on the top, with once again Scotch lock connectors in the back to extend wiring to go in. So, but for now, we'll take this and set it over here on the floor, well, on the bench, out of the way. Because what I'm just going to do is sit here and chat with you all as we work on getting the screen mounted. So we've got some Camp U1. So let me ask this question. Who all was at Rapid TCT? Who all in chat on YouTube or over in Twitchland is at Rapid TCT or is going to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival in a couple of days? Oh, and also while I wait for responses from that question, I do have DXC 2 extruders coming in. And I am trying to talk to them to see if I can't get in the Rapido X beta. I've done a lot of beta testing with betas. So hopefully I get selected for that one as well, and we get the Rapido X in here, because I do have some machines that I can throw it on and test that out. Oh, hey, TGL. Welcome on in. You're going to Remurf, Cody. Awesome. Have fun. Have a blast. Alex, I know you're going. If you're still out there listening, please do me a solid and say hi to Jason over at LDO Motors for me. Because I believe he is going to, I know he was at Rapid, but I believe he is going to Rocky Mountain as well. And if you guys get an opportunity, I know that EPAX is going to be at Rocky Mountain as well. So be sure to stop by and say hello to them. And tell them Digital Dragon said come say hi. We are doing the peel. Guess I should have done the right thing and actually put in the heat set inserts in here first. That would have made too much sense though. So yeah, I would have loved to have gone, but unfortunately with the sinus surgery, that needed to take precedence. But I really wish I could be there to see everyone. I know a lot of people were at Rapid and are going from Rapid over to Remurf. So I wanted to be one of them, but my plans right now are to heal, and then we'll be going to Midwest. And I'm not sure, whoops, I'm not sure, oh yeah, that was a little warm. Not sure if we're going to make it to Printopia this year, or if we're going to hold off on the Philly trip, well, darn it, and go to Formnext instead. I have a feeling Mrs. Dragon's going to want to go to Formnext with me instead. Hey, Piled, how's it going? I am going to do Murph. I am going to be at Murph. I think that may be one where we close the shop and we come out and hang with everybody at Midwest, see my son there. We'll have to make another trip to see our son in Colorado. Sons in Colorado. But yeah, we will be at Midwest. And then I need screw wise for these. Does it say? I can never remember. LDO docs. Boron. Pick one. Trident. Parts. File. Does that file say which? 4 M2.5 by 6. 5 M3 by 8. Couple of few M3 by 8s and the ones that are in the kit. That's good. Okay. Phantom pops in. Hey, Maker Viking, how's it going? Welcome on in. Yeah, I will be at Midwest. I will not be at Rocky Mountain. Just yeah, with the sinus surgery and everything, can't do the Rocky Mountain stuff. And my camera froze again. Why? Why do you keep freezing, camera? Inquiring minds want to know. Bring this one down and you can hopefully see the bench some. So, got a few pieces here. We've got the green parts, the very short thing that I almost never use because I never build it with the pie on the back. Boom, 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 boom. We need to pull those off. Trying to get some work done and you're sick. Oh, that's not good. It should not be overheating. It's sitting right here and my like the AC's on to the point where I'm wanting to like go put jeans on. Camera's had the cushiest job ever. I'll have to look at it. It might just be, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. John Doe, how's it going? Yeah, we're just kind of, we'll say, fiddle farting a bit. I've been working on rebuilding some stuff on this Trident. So the Trident was brought in by this guy's friend, and he wanted the filament spool holder and the ability to run this filament from the exterior of the machine. Why it was internal, I don't know. He wanted a clipper screen, touch screen on the front instead of the 128/64, and he would prefer to have a filament runout sensor. And mechanically, everything seemed to be printing well. I did pull the wiring for the CAN bus tool head out of the chains, and yeah, the CAN bus data cables were just straight and running right next to the power cables. So your CAN bus cables, if you're ever creating a CAN bus cable, it should be twisted at least once every inch. I believe is the minimum spec for it. So we did go ahead and do that. And yeah. So I did go ahead and do that. And then, oh, well, that's great. I'm like, why is this not fitting? Because this is a TFT 5 and not a 4.3. That's not going to work. Now I need to go and find a 4.3 screen instead of a 5. Why did I order a 5? I don't know why I ordered a 5. But I have a 5. That stinks. Now let's go see if I have a different screen over there in the bin. Thank you for the follow, TJL. Appreciate it. Yeah, let me come over here and see what other screen types I may have available to me right now. Let's see. Yeah. No, not that one. 7-inch TFT. So I've got a screen for the Venture XL already. Got a Beacon Rev D, Artographer USB, Artographer CAN. Oh, there we go. There's a 4.3 screen. There's a 4.3 screen. We have plenty of those. Got a V0 display. Anybody needs a V0 display. Waveshare 2.8-inch DSI LCDs. That there is back in here. Remember that for the Venture XL. Right. Let's try this again with a proper screen size this time. Rabidoo, how's it going? You're tempted to hop on plane Saturday morning into Rocky Mountain. That would be nice. Like I said, I would love to go up there just to hang out, see people, even if it was a one-day hit and run. I just I wouldn't hold up to it right now. Having the surgery and, you know, dealing with the altitude and stuff, it was just, it would not be a wise decision on my part. Even though I need to go see my son that is in Colorado, and check on him and see how he's doing. That may be a separate dedicated trip to go do that. All right, so once again, we'll go ahead and we'll do the peel. Ready? I All right. Pop these off again. But yeah, the store's been going well. We're, like I said, we're getting a lot of custom print orders in. We're getting, you know, a lot of people are excited about the printers. A lot of people are excited about the Keedy printers, especially. You know, they just have a really solid price point and performance. So that's been nice. That fits a little bit better. Now, this is not my Trident, so I will not be registering this in the uh, Projects and Dad's Garage 300 and up size fastest speed test runs. And those are Phillips heads, so I need this. So not mine, so that one will not be in it. However, you know, one of my other Tridents we might have to play around with, see what we can do. Yeah, how's everybody doing over there in YouTube land? See John Doe, Projects and Dad's Garage, Timor, Cody. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. I know I'm looking forward to the weekend, even though it was a short week for me because I started back to work on Wednesday. That's there. Got our 3 ready to go underneath. Put our front bezel on. Now, the customer here had pretty much said they did not care about the colors. They were like, it can look like a, you know, like a rainbow for all they care. They just wanted it to be clipper screen. I was like, okay, we can do that. Should have taken that and really messed with them and like reprinted all the parts in like a rainbow TPU. Said, all right, here's your Voron back. Hey, Dank Think Tank, how's it going? Here we go. Looks pretty nice. Probably should have put the ribbon cable on before I tightened everything down in there. How far we got to go? Not that far. My 15 cables am I going to use? See. Got an extra long kind there. We'll save this one for a rainy day. Oh, you're heading to Colorado in an hour? How much of a trip is it, Cody? How long of a trip do you have? And are you driving or flying? Buy a bunch of these in packages so that I can. You get different lengths of cables. You just kind of go through and figure out, okay, which length would make the most sense for this particular build. I think that one is going to make sense. A stupid, crazy short one that comes with these never seems to make sense, because very rarely, if ever, have I mounted the screen directly to the back of the Pi, or the Pi directly to the back of the screen, is what that little FPC cable is designed for. Hey, Tinkering Techie, how's it going? The Tinkering Techie, I know you've been down to the shop fairly recently, but we have the Dragon, or I'm sorry, the Rapido 2s, the Dragon Ultra High Flows. I'm trying to talk with Thetis right now, see if I can't get my hands on one of the new Rapido X's for the beta testing. And, I look forward to stocking those here in the shop as well. I have some DXC2 extruders coming in. We'll have some stuff for the H2Ds that I have coming in, or the H2 series coming in. So this is the Pi TFT screen itself. We're going to be putting this in a Trident for Sandhills. It came in for, he wanted a touchscreen added to it. The filament spool holder moved from the inside of the printer to the outside, and a filament runout sensor. And when it got to me, the bed was hanging on by the wires, and all three bed mounts had been broken. So I don't know if the guy that brought it was like off-roading or what. Told you about that last weekend. Yep. So that bed was a mess. So I've reprinted all the parts in ASA carbon fiber from Soriatech. This is just straight ASA. This is not carbon fiber, but all the parts that I reprinted was ASA carbon fiber from Soriatech. And I always forget the flip-in direction. why we look at the LDO documentation. The LDO documentation always tells me how to connect the You give me one picture? What? Okay. That side pi. This side here. Yeah, I wanted to go up to Ecovate for that maker meetup because it was all on 3D scanning, and I really wanted to go see that, but alas, it was not in the cards. But there, here. Hey, Spidey, how's it going, friend? Hope you're doing well. 11 hours, you're going to split it in two. Okay, so you're driving. Nice, Cody. Just take it easy. I mean, 11 hours splitting it makes sense. Not everybody needs to follow our example and do a 29-hour straight drive from North Carolina to Rocky Mountain. Yeah, I don't know if he picked it up by the bed or what, but it was definitely hanging on by a thread. Yeah, I did see that he was mad at himself too for forgetting that for forgetting the scanner. But yeah, that's one of the big things. I've asked him to come out and kind of give me and Evil Diesel a crash course on the 3D scanning stuff. And then we will be getting a 3D scanner. We have been picking up a lot of projects working with various car parts for people and other builds, and we've had to reverse engineer several pieces lately. So I think having the scanner capability here in the shop would be a good thing to have. All right, let's see if our other camera is going to play nicely for us. Finish something. Come back to it. Okay. We had to do a little bit of cleaning, scrape some stuff off. The person that had this before him had put all of the panel, instead of putting the foam on the panels, they put it on the rails. So this kind of gives me a feeling like this is an older build versus a newer build. And then also I noticed they've got various upgrades and, CNC metal mounts at the back, CNC metal idlers at the front, but the tensioning's done at the back. And then, like things like here where they've got the titanium rails, but the titanium rails have like standard screws in half of the places instead of using countersunk screws. So we'll have to fix that problem as well while we're here. Oh yes, it is and has been. There was one spot where I had to take it off, and I'm going to have to, you know, I'll just put it right back on at the top. And we'll, I think I did the standard exhaust back port for this. So that gets me the PTFE tube outlet that I need. I was contemplating just going with a umbilical and getting rid of the cable chains. And then I decided, once again, that's not the intent. The intent was to get it back up and running, and the cable chains work just fine. So we'll just get those back, you know, get it back into running order. In a minute, we'll take the front cover off here and check that out just to see, because it is a version of Stealth Burner, but like their whole rear mount is something different. Like I'm not sure what extruder this is actually running. It's LDO parts, but yeah, Stealth Changer is sitting right over there off screen. It's, like I said, mechanically assembled. I've got Sex Bolt or whatever. Yeah, not Sex Bolt. Sex Ball is installed at the front, and I moved the bed back a little bit. I'm trying to do my research on, you know, what would Steve do? So I'm looking at Steve Buildstream to figure out how much he pushed his bed back by, and double check some of the settings that I did before I go in and start trying to do calibration stuff again. But that's where we're at. I'm pretty sure the software is now set up to where I can start doing things and get it running under a single tool head. I just realized my camera froze again. And hey, MakerMind Nexus, how are you today, my friend? And to no one's surprise, I just dropped another screw. Go back and figure out what is causing that issue, whether it's a Stream Elements issue, a camera issue, a Windows issue, as to why just the one keeps freezing. Because this one still works just fine. Awesome. Well, if you ever want to come down and compare notes, you know, I've got the Stealth Changer down here. And so for those of you that are just popping in, one of the comments that we had earlier was that we have come to terms with A Bit Nuts. A Bit Nuts will be driving down here next Saturday. So not 2 days from now, but a week after that. he'll be driving down here and bringing his RatRig VCore 4.1 400 build down with him in the current state that it is, and all of the parts and goodies that he has for it. And in exchange for a bunch of co-print parts and another printer as well, I will be doing the final build of that RatRig for him and trying to get it up, done, and running. So that will be happening. So that project should be here when we do our next maker meetup, Tinkering Techie, which our maker meetups are the first Sunday of every month. So if you're in the Sanford, North Carolina area and it's the first Sunday of the month and you're bored, swing on by. We'll be here all day, 10 to 7. Maker meetup I'm sorry, it's Sunday, so it's noon to 7. We will have some type of topic. I haven't quite figured out what that topic is yet, but we will have a topic of discussion so that we have something to guide the day. Up some. What just fell? Put a couple of screws in. We'll get this connected up, and who knows? Maybe we'll throw a little power on this. And hey guys, I dropped a screw again. The next Makers Meetup is May 2nd, 1 week before Mother's Day. Yes. So we can come here and maybe we can talk about Mother's Day gifts and what you can make for Mother's Day. I don't know. No. We can always chat about printers. We can look at printers. Our classes have started up and are doing well, being well received. We had our first Tinkercad class, and we had a full house for that. Evil Diesel instructed that class, and everybody seemed to have a great time at it. We'll have our preventive maintenance class coming up, and then another Tinkercad class. And at some point, we'll get really highfalutin and we'll do a fusion class or something. Maybe a blender, you know. Adding to the calendar. Awesome. Awesome. Why is that not? Pictures. Pictures always help you figure out where the wire that you took off goes back to. Be sure to take pictures of your builds, folks. Yep. Right now, the only thing that I still need to do is terminate the CAN bus. Figure out which connector type they used, and hopefully I have it. We can get the CAN bus going. Bed's not installed. CAN bus isn't installed in talking. Guess need to get our screen going. A little bit tighter than desired. All right. Now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to see, we're going to do some checking, make sure we don't let out any magic smoke. Really should probably get those tucked in first. Let's do a bed. Let's install the bed. Get the beast back in there. Bed is what? Here. Give me 1 second to grab the manual. I think it's, anybody know what the Trident bed screws are? For the Trident bed mount? M5, I know that. M5 by 16 button head screw. There was a mixture of screws, so I'd much rather put the right screw in there. M5 by 16. And by mixture of screws, there was, you know, a socket head, a button head. I don't know if all of them were even the right size, so make sure we use the right size screw. You can imagine that. I dropped it on the ground. gracious. The nice thing is we haven't mucked with the belts at all. We haven't really done much of anything. Um, we removed the bed. We reprinted the 3-corner mounts. We reprinted the rear mount that goes onto the uh, linear rail. Kind of nice when you don't have to sit here and be like, oh, let me rebuild 3/4 of the printer. Ooh. Okay, so that part's there. We need to bring these wires over, get them terminated, and then we'll be ready to, I believe, attempt a power on. I think the only thing that will be missing still will be like the rear exhaust fan, which shouldn't make a difference. Nothing should break in the config on that. Oops. Fix some of the wiring again. Bear with me. Neutral coming back. So Dan, are you going to be at Midwest Rep Rap Festival? Hope the answer is yes. And Spidey, are you going up to Midwest this year? All that's there. Need to do some zip tying. Problem is, I do not have an appropriate size set of zip ties just yet, but we're wired up for the bed. Spool head is not enough for can yet because I need to figure out that connector. So we will probably take an error because there's no CAN bus talking. I have that wire somewhere. The wire. Do not see that one. That one, oh, I don't think that one was even scotch locked, which is why I threw it away because it was just electrical taped. The ends were literally just electrical taped together. Looks like JST. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and plug things in. We'll hit the power switch, see if we let out any magic smoke, and see what we get. I will see if we can get this other side. You will not be attending? Well, that stinks. All right, so this one's going to play nicely for at least a moment. Come down here so everybody can get a good view. If we happen to get any weird colored smoke. Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative. See? This is why we do our wiring, and this is why we double, triple, quadruple check. At some point, when I redid some connections here, I actually put the ground wire on the line wire and the line wire on the ground wire. That would have not turned out well. That would not have turned out well. You guys almost got a show. Line to line and that green wire signaling ground be on the ground or protected earth. Ground. Neutral. Okay. Now, once more, with a slight bit of oomph. Ding, ding, red, black, black. Okay. Should be good. 3, 2, 1. Button flipped. All right, we got lights on a Raspberry Pi. We got multiple lights back here. I don't know if we'll get any. We should at least get something on the screen, just not Clipper screen. Boogly boogly. Talking over there. I know screen. Look at the well. Of course, Manuel shows the standard screen connections and not those connections. I'm just trying to make sure I have the Raspberry Pi screen cable set up right. And I don't. I have my cable 100% backwards. Sweet. Well, that sucks. Um, oh, and the screen has died yet again. No smoke, no sparks. It passed the smoke test. Yep. It didn't take a break and go smoking on me, so. On, let's take the potentially electronic or electrically charged piece off. That out. Put end for end. This side, the I'm going to do the right thing and unplug it rather than continue to try and mess with it while it's plugged in. See if we can get this installed without having to take it out. Yeah, and I know better. I'm just being lazy. And like I said, I know better. I should not be that way. I mean, we could have had some really good sparkles on screen if I had had that uh, live and ground reversed. That would have been a good one. Yeah, we all know better, except when we don't do it, and then we remember why we should have done it right the right way. Yep. All right. That's back in there. We'll put this back up right. Bring this back. Plug it in. All right, now let's try this again. The good thing is with the ribbon cable backwards, it's actually not going to do anything because it won't have connecting pins. And I did just see a light on the back of the screen this time, so that's good. That means it's got power. Anything on? There we go. We've got a screen now. If the bench side will give us, 20 seconds. And we're booting upside down. There we go. So now we can go in. If I'll have to figure out how to put an IP address on it. Probably I'll just direct connect it, and we'll get it live on the network, and then go that route. Known as Second Trident. Well, that's good. So the good news is, machine's coming up. Instead of booting up, it boots down. Yeah, there you go. So everything is properly talking. I need to put it on the network, which means I'm going to have to run a cable to it and get it talking on the network. But I think we're good. Camera. Hello. I think we're good. We've got the Trident back up and at least running. We need to do some cable tie stuff, of which I need to go and get some of the right cable ties, because all the ones I have are too thick to go around through the slots that are designed into these parts. And I'll need to put this on the network so that we can get things tested out, which means I am going to have to run an Ethernet cable to it to enable that. And then we'll have to go from there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and hanging out with me. Saturday, we will be streaming Saturday night, or at least that is my intent at this point in time. So yeah, look for, if you're in the area, please look for notifications on our Facebook and on the website for upcoming events. We're trying to make sure that everything is on the website, is posted event-wise into Discord and on the Facebook page, so that if you're ever here by the shop, you're more than welcome to come in and say hi. And with that being said, I think that is all for this evening. Yeah, I think that is all for this evening. So, excuse me. Let me check and see who is up and running tonight. Might be a weird night as far as who's running, because people are not at home who would normally be here, like Big Jano, who I saw was out at the show tonight, or at Rapid. And then I believe he was heading over to Rocky Mountain. So, you know, for those of you that are live on Twitch, coworker told me he went to your store recently. Spidey, would that by any chance be DJ? I believe that was DJ. Oh, thank you, Mad Owl. Yeah. Wonderful guy. We're going to raid Mr. Zach M. Rutledge. If I get that correct. There we go. Yeah, we're going to raid over into Zach M. Rutledge tonight, everybody. Thank you for being here. Jedi Spidey, yes, your friend was amazing to chat with. He's getting into 3D printing. Yep, bought one of my machines. That is true. That is true. And we're going to be, yeah, we're going to be looking at getting him a printer here of his, another printer of his own in a larger size soon. So, yep, Everybody, thanks for being here. Um, if you are in the local area, I am not going to be shipping printers. If you're in the local area, I have finally set up a way of doing pre-orders now. So if you're interested in a GDTech printer and you're in the local area and you want to make sure that you're going to get one of the batch that comes in, we will be doing some pre-orders. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me as we sit here and go through some repairs and do some other work around here in the shop. We have some other builds that are coming up that will be really fun to work on. So yeah, stick around, have fun. Twitch, we'll see you over at Zach's YouTube. Y'all have a great night. Bye now.